I just lost $1 million remodel because I was honest with the client. And I always thought to myself, one day I'm going to grow a business, I'm going to systematize it, and I'm going to let it run itself.
Yeah.
And you can do that in construction, but the process is a lot harder than people think. The cheap contractor doesn't know the numbers, the expensive contractor knows his numbers. That's literally the difference.
Reputation is king. It's the number one currency that we trade in. Welcome everybody to this episode of Unconventional Materials. Joining me today is the award-winning, multi-award-winning Architectural Digest Pro, featured on Martha Stewart, NARI, Best Home, Best Design of the Year. But apart from that, a simple man, a lover of God, and a father of 4 children, Mr. Lincoln Rogers. Lincoln,
Awesome.
How are we doing?
Doing great.
Kingdom & Co. is the name of the company. Today, I want to talk about your story and how you got started in the design build world, what you've created up to this point with your partners, and where it is that Kingdom & Co. is going. So I say we just kind of dive in. When I was doing my research about the company, I noticed that your LinkedIn profile specifically says dropout in 2009. I guess like what led to that?
You know, it's funny because when I do my LinkedIn, there was asked about college. I'm like, what do I call myself? I'm like, I don't want to say like non-educated. I'd rather just say what really happened is I dropped out. So it was just funny because when I served my mission for my church, I got home, I was 21 years old, and I was motivated to start a business, motivated to start a family. And I just wanted to like take life, head on. And what's interesting about it is, I was like, okay, the first thing I need to do is I need to go to college. So I go to college, I'm going to college full time. I'm working full time in a sheet metal shop, just grinding, right? Yeah. And I didn't like my job in the sheet metal shop. I hated it. But I needed to pay the bills, And so I got married, started going to school full time, and then I'll never forget, I don't remember his name, my professor, but I'm sitting there, and this is not all colleges, but I was going to the community college at the time. And I'll never forget, I was sitting there, and I'm like, I was taking these business classes, but everything I was learning wasn't about business. It was just about memorizing answers and passing tests. Right. And I sat there, and I'm like, this is not for me. I hate this. Like, I want, and I looked it up. My professor never ran a business before. So I'm sitting there going, why am I here? And so I went home, I talked to my wife, and I said, babe, can I please, and you want to make sure it's a family decision. Like, can I please drop out? I want to, go through, I want to do real estate. I loved real estate. That's what I was passionate about. It's like, in my mind, I wanted to basically buy a million homes and rent them out and make a ton of money. That was like my mind. Like that's what, as a 21-year-old kid, that's kind of what you were thinking. So the funniest thing is about that is, as soon as I got my real estate license, this was in 2008. So the market's crashing. Right. My mom found out I just dropped out of college. She calls me up screaming at me, "What are you doing? Terrified. You're getting your real estate license. Everybody's running away from real estate." And I'm crazy enough, I go against the grain a lot. And so I ended up getting my real estate license. And then the opportunity came about where my uncle called me out of the blue. And I haven't talked to my uncle for, a couple of years, and good friend, but like, he lives in Arizona. He's like, "Hey, Lincoln, you're doing real estate, right?" And I'm like, 3 months in, yeah, of course. I'm doing real estate. Yeah. And and what ended up happening is I ended up getting connected with a hedge fund who wanted to buy a bunch of homes at auction here in Vegas. So me and my buddy ended up buying, flipping, I would say over about 400 or 500 homes in Vegas in like that next 5-6 years. Wow. It was crazy. I mean, we were buying homes every day. It was wild. And then from there, it organically turned into, this is why I always joke about, I never wanted to start a construction company, ever. But because the way the economy got better and better, naturally, I was doing real estate for my family and friends, and then I was naturally doing construction. And so somebody at a birthday party said, "Hey, Lincoln, have you ever done a remodel for a client before?" And I'm like, "No, only for myself." Yeah. And lo and behold, me and my buddies got together, knocked it out of the park. And short story, we ended up, I guess if you show up and you do what you say you're going to do, people think you're a good company. Can you believe it? I didn't realize that that's all you had to do, And we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we're not perfect at all. I mean, we've paid for those mistakes.
Most definitely.
And so that's kind of the story of how we started. It just organically happened. I didn't even want to start this company, but it happened, and I feel like it almost called me. Yeah. And then the funny thing about it is, my mom used to love. I remember as a kid, my mom used to draw. My parents built their own house, and so my mom used to do house plans for neighbors and friends. Oh, that's awesome. So she would do like a design thing. My dad was a contractor, and he worked for big time companies, and I'm like, of course, as a kid, I'm never going to do something like that. So I went to the real estate route, and then all of a sudden, I ended up becoming a contractor and a
Right.
designer, like just like my parents. So it's just the
Right.
way life works, you know.
Yeah, so it's what you just said, that the industry kind of called you rather than you chasing or pursuing it. It just
Right.
kind of organically happened.
Right, and back up a little bit, go back to my story a little bit, and we kind of talked about this off air, but like,
Yeah.
my brother was a big part of that. My brother who passed away, it was interesting when I got back from my mission. He was flipping homes already, and I didn't even know it. I was way over my head, and we bought a house together, and we fixed it up together, and I was like, it was such an exciting time. I got married, and like 4 months after I got married, my brother got in that skateboard accident, and he passed away. So I think part of me, like internally, like when that happened, what ended up happening to me was taking risks was a really big part of my life, because I
Yeah.
realized life is just too short, and you can't live your life in fear because it can end tomorrow.
Most definitely.
And so that really motivated me to just like start my own business and go for it, because I knew that life could end any second. So that really like refined me.
I love that. And I read somewhere that a part of what you do today is a testament, or rather paying what your brother's legacy forward by way of, Kingdom and Co. and the company that you guys have.
100%. I always joke about with my parents. I'm like, I wonder with my brother TC. I'm like, I always wonder where he'd be at in the mix of all this, or even if I would have. And then part of me always wonders, maybe I would have never taken this leap of faith, because, maybe that experience I had when he was passing away, maybe that would have held me back a little bit. So I always wonder, it's all those things that you wonder about.
It's but nonetheless, it sounds like it was a profound impact on you, and
For sure.
led to the story that you have today.
Right.
I am curious because from my other research that I did, you guys have added, just in the flips alone, probably close to $10 million in added value through your renovations and flips all across Vegas, specifically Summerlin, and all across Clark County, if I'm not mistaken.
All over, yeah.
And so, given that, I think that a lot of times contractors will get started in residential construction, and they will first start working for private clients or for homeowners. But you guys had a little bit of an opposite experience, where you were deeply involved with the production renovation process.
Yes.
You already knew how to build a schedule, how to get your trades out, line them up in accordance with whatever the goal was, and how to be efficient. How did that impact how fast you wanted to grow this company?
Well, really fast, and in a bad way, in a good way, right? Like, and even go back a little bit more, like, it's one of those things where like it's with our clients now. It really drives me nuts when our clients put money that they shouldn't put into a home, because we know the science so well of bringing value. So when I see somebody so when we have clients who are like want to put money in there's a client that wanted to put a lot of money. They wanted to put another bathroom downstairs, and I just knew value so well. I'm like, they already have 4 bathrooms in this house.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we want this one down here just because we feel like it'd be good for our guests and stuff. And there was one not too far away, and I was like, guys, you're gonna save 30-40 grand not doing this. And they wanted to do this really nice railing system and all these other things. So really try to talk clients out of putting money in the places that they don't. So it's still my DNA to, even with our clients at Kingdom and Company, like, I really don't want them to waste money, because I want them to have value.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? So anyway, what was the other question?
That kind of ties into the point, though, that like you guys prioritize value for clients.
Yes.
More than anything, and that also shows up in the way that you guys have in-house carpentry, in-house plumbing, and then I know you guys started Raven, which is your glass fabrication division.
Right.
So I guess value first has always been the approach. Why do you think that is your competitive edge in this landscape that we're in?
It's a really good question, and I really think because we can get our clients better results. So I have some friends that have remodeling companies that they do a lot of work and make a lot of money, but their designs aren't very good.
Right.
And I don't want to be rude about it, but like, because they decided to make money.
Sure.
And so when you for me, it's hard, because it's this fine balance of like, of course, as a company we need to make money.
Right.
But at the same time, am I willing to make a little less to make sure my clients get the cabinets that they want, or to make sure that they get the design that they deserve? And so at the end of the day, you obviously work for money, but it's more than money for me. I love the before and after.
Yeah.
I love being able to walk into a client's home and being proud of the work. And so that's what that's what matters to me. And so the reason why we do the in-house cabinetry, the reason why we do the Raven, is so we can bring pricing down so our clients can get more.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned obviously having in-house cabinetry, and we're sitting in this beautiful showroom here right now. This obviously didn't happen overnight. You mentioned that a lot of mistakes came along the way. I guess, like, what was like one of the biggest realization moments where you were like, holy moly, I'm running an actual business and I need to maybe I need to play things a little bit safer to protect myself and for the company.
No, it's a really good question. So when we first started Kingdom and Company, it was supposed to be just a small business. And I love sales and I love people. And so it's really easy when you care about people and you just want to do good, it blows up, right? And so what ended up happening is it started off as me and Brian and Zion, and then we had a couple other people, and then it just started getting bigger. And so in my mind, I always thought to myself, and this is what was really a big lesson for me just recently, because construction is a project-based business. And I always thought to myself, one day I'm going to grow a business, I'm going to systematize it, and I'm going to let it run itself. And you can do that in construction, but the process is a lot harder than people think. And so in my mind, I'm like, the bigger I get, the faster I can have this thing run itself.
Sure.
And so I'd grow it and grow it and grow it. And at first we started in my backyard. I had some shipping containers that I converted into office space. So I'd like 5 people working in my backyard. And I look up, and this is that's your question. I'll never forget, there was a moment, I'm in my backyard. I live on an acre estate in Vegas.
Right.
And in the backyard, it started off small, and I look into my backyard, and there's 15 cars parked in the backyard. And I walk in these shipping containers, and there's 16 people in these shipping containers.
You're like, oh my gosh.
There's too many people here. Like, what are we doing? But anyway, so
they're all in your backyard.
They're all in my backyard, and I'm just sitting there going like, this is crazy how this organically just blew up. But so, really learning about the way the business is, how construction really is, and so recently we've made a lot of cuts just because bigger isn't better, and I don't make cuts because I didn't make cuts because the company's about to go out of business. It was more like, what are we doing here? Like, let's get rid of positions that we really don't need. Those are luxury positions, and let's really focus on keeping the best of the best. And in worst case scenario, we tell clients we can't work with them for 5 months to a year, and really just do it right and slow down rather than speed up, and then all of a sudden quality goes a little bit down, and all of a sudden you lose a little bit of control over here, and suddenly you lose another 15 grand over here because you're like, oh my gosh, we didn't factor this in the bid, and the clients are really upset, and we completely overpromised and underdelivered. Like, and that we got, you can lose control real quick if you're not managing correctly.
Most definitely.
And that's what happened. We grew a little fast, but at the same time, we quickly dialed it back.
Yeah. And you guys are, I imagine, taking advantage of all of the AI revolution that's taking place right now. And given the fact that you cut down 13 people within that period of time, I think it was like, what, a 12-month period?
No, like 4 months.
4-month period.
Yeah. Right away, I just right away knew, because we know our numbers really well. And I'm forecasting things and looking at things, and with AI coming into play, there's no doubt in my mind, you get to the point where the good players in your company who are using AI become even more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I have one employee who's so good. He's developing an app for us.
That's awesome.
He was able to get rid of a position, a bookkeeping position, because he used the ramp system, the credit card system, along with the AI, along with this. I don't even know what the heck he's talking about half the time. And suddenly he's like, I don't need this position anymore. I can get everything done in an hour. And I'm like, this is crazy. So being able to find that younger, and we're a younger construction company, we're younger. I'm 41, and I'm one of the oldest ones here, and so it's really neat to be able to see AI really enhance the artist, enhance the organization, and really play to those things. But so AI is definitely going to be a big booster in efficiencies and quality. And there will, no doubt in my mind, and people want to talk about it, but it will definitely cut positions.
Yeah, most definitely. But to your point though, I believe that it'll amplify the A players that you already have.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Yeah. And so I'm curious, because we're implementing like some robust AI systems for a lot of the contractors we work with. I'm curious to hear, what is one way that you specifically are using AI, maybe during the design process or during the production phase? Because I know that you're technically, you're obviously the head of the company, or you're general manager of the company, right? And so how are you using AI workflows in your day-to-day?
So going back to the app that Ryan's developing right now, so he's using Claude right now to develop our own personalized, so that everything, because right now we use Airtable, we're using JobTread, we're using QuickBooks, you go through all these different softwares, and he's going to put everything onto one.
Love it.
And he's so close to getting it done. So he's able to create, so I used it before, but we have these dashboards he'll create for me. So in my meetings, I go up there and I can see right away what our grippage and slippage is. I can see where our rip report is. I can see which our PMs are performing on schedules. And it's immediate information, because information, especially in construction, is the key
Number one
to all things. And so getting the information organized, because I'm a very
Huge.
I'm a very fast-paced person, so
Yeah.
if you can get me a simplified version of what's going on,
Yeah.
where I need to focus,
Real-time data.
yeah, real-time data. In construction, it is game changer.
Massive.
So that's one way. Another way our designers will use it, and our designers still are very, very amazing artists. But I've seen a designer recently screenshot something, put into what do you call it? Prompting it.
Oh, okay.
And really prompt it, and then put together a really pretty design, modify it, send it over to our drafting department, get it dialed in, and it just happens. Now they're able to do it quicker,
So fast.
and better. And so these artists are now, that's what I'm saying, our artists, our designers are getting, the ones that are really good are getting enhanced into something that are becoming superhuman.
I love it.
You know?
I love it. Yeah, no, business intelligence is the number one thing I say for any 8-figure contractor that's trying to scale to the next level.
And what's interesting as well is and to pass it on to our clients is now I'm charging them less because it takes less time.
Right.
So it's a benefit for our clients because back in the day, let's say a design project would cost like $30,000.
Yeah.
Now we can charge 15 to 20,
Right.
and almost cut it in half because it's taking us half the time.
Well, your overhead's lower.
Yeah.
Right.
Lower heads, lower. Yeah, exactly right.
And then just like the time to complete the project. So
Yes.
yeah. Speaking of that, we had a conversation 2 weeks ago when we had initially kind of spoken about doing this, about providing value to the customer. And I think that oftentimes when clients think about hiring a contractor, they get the traditional, I want to talk to 3 contractors, I want to get 3 bids, review the 3 bids, and then they're stuck in this kind of mental loop of, oh my gosh, but this contractor's number on paper is so much less.
Right.
Yeah, they're less specific, but I mean, I personally feel better about going with this guy because he's the cheaper guy.
Right.
You guys have nailed the preliminary assessment process to a degree that is almost a fault of yours that you've mentioned, that like you're almost too detailed.
Yes.
And so talk me through, I guess, the difference between hiring the cheap guy and hiring the premium guy and the gap that you guys have filled.
No, it's a really good question. So I just lost $1 million remodel because I was honest with the client.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to do this project. I want to do it with $1 million. And then we dove into the project, and he's knocking down tons of walls, tons of load-bearing stuff, tons of engineering going on, bringing it all the way down to drywall. Wants to do a level 5 finished drywall.
Oh wow.
We know, and we're talking top of the line custom cabinets. It's a 6,000 square foot home.
Oh wow.
You get to the point. He's like, I want this done between 800 to $1 million, including design, all finishes. And I just said, hey, we just did a project like this, and it cost $1.5 million. I know the numbers. And I said, I broke it down for him and explained it to him. He's like, well, I want it done for $1 million. And I said, unfortunately, it just doesn't pencil. I will lose money if I do that. Our costs will literally be $1.2 million. And so he didn't like that. But because I know our numbers now, what I could have done and what we've done in the past, which we aren't anymore, is what I could have done is said, yeah, we can do it for $1 million. Then you handcuff them, and then you give them a really basic scope, and then you get to the field, and you're 3 months into the project, and you're now just going to change order the client.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is most people have bad experiences with contractors because the contractors don't take their time in the preliminary stage. Mm-hmm. They give really broad scopes. I had actually a friend, my cousin, who's one of my best friends. He's got a quote down in LA. He sent it to me because I'm like, let me see it, come in the business. And I was blown away. The scope was, it literally said he's doing a full remodel of his house. And the demo line item said, demo the house.
Yeah. It's like,
and I'm like,
this
is so broad that this gives them such the ability to do whatever they want. They can change order you at any time because in this contract, they're not giving you enough details. And so for us, we really like to nail down all the details to the point of like angle stops, hardware on the cabinets to the point where everything's detailed in because we want to be completely transparent with our clients. And sometimes clients, I feel like sometimes they don't want to be told the truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes they want to think it's, hey, just tell me it's going to be cheaper and then I'll pay for it later type of thing. But really to give the clients the experience they deserve and to really help our industry, in my opinion, I wish that most contractors would just be honest, slow down, and give them real numbers so that we're not, handcuffing them and then just change ordering them and giving them a bad experience. And so there's times where we'll lose clients, and there's times where it comes down to trust. Yeah. And going with the cheap guy, we joked about this the other day. One of my clients asked, Lincoln, what's the difference between a cheap contractor and an expensive contractor? I said, well, the cheap contractor doesn't know the numbers. The expensive contractor knows his numbers. That's literally the difference. When you analyze, by the time you're done with that project, I guarantee you'll be within 5%. And your experience will be night and day. So after we talked last week, I thought about this. Like, you know what? The indicator. If I was a person who was looking at hiring a contractor, the person you should hire is the person that has the most detailed information before you get the scope. So based off of scope, whoever has the most detailed scope is the contractor you should use because they're going to be the ones that give you the best experience. So that's the way to.
Have you found that to be true across like your best of the best clients? Are the best of the best clients that you've personally experienced the ones who value details on the front end?
100%. And our best clients are the ones who've done this before because they know exactly when I walk in, I say, hey, we're not the contractors to be cheap. We're going to be the contractor that gives you the most information. And right away they go, sign me up because we've had the contractor like that. And it was an absolute nightmare. When I speak to them, it's almost like I'm speaking music to their ears because right away they're going, what you're explaining is exactly the experience I just had. They gave me a low number. They change ordered us. We had a terrible experience. Timelines were off. Just tell us the truth.
You empower them with the information to make the right decision for themselves.
Yes. The hard clients are the ones who've never done it before, right? Because in their mind, it's all about and I don't blame them. It's expensive.
Yeah, dollars.
And so for them, it's if they don't believe that what we're saying is true, they'll find out.
How did you guys establish the reputation that you guys did? Obviously, you said at the very beginning is say you're going to do something and actually do it.
Right.
Is it that simple, or is there more intricacies to your client experience that's made it amazing?
I think the most important thing for us, and again, there's some of our clients that don't like us anymore, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I make sure, and this is my company, this is my value to the community. I'm born and raised in Vegas. My dad always taught me it's a small town, which it sounds weird because there's 2.5 million people here now, but it really is. Like if you burn bridges, then everybody finds out about it. And so even though we sometimes will make mistakes and our clients will have bad experiences, there's times that can happen. But me and Brian, our philosophy is always like we always do it right. So if for some reason we mess up on the cabinet order and it's not our fault, instead of most contractors who are going to find a way to change order them or be a little slimy about it, like we just eat the cost. And we've eaten so much, like we've lost literally millions of dollars because of our mistakes.
Yeah.
But my name is more important than making a couple bucks and having a bad reputation.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most powerful things that anybody could take away from watching this episode is that reputation is king.
It's so important.
It's the number one, in my opinion, it's the number one currency that we trade in nowadays.
Right. And it's funny because I can sleep at night knowing I did it right. I can go to a restaurant and I see one of my old clients, unless it's a client that they don't like, I can look them right in the eye and say hi because I know that their house is gorgeous, the quality's incredible, and though they might have had a bad experience at that one home, because I'd say we're about 80% of our experiences are great, 20% can go really bad.
Sure.
It's just construction, it's hard. But at the end of the day, I sleep well at night knowing that we're doing the right thing.
I think what's really cool about what you're saying is that you're owning the fact that not every experience is an A+ experience.
Yeah, it's not.
And you're figuring it out and you're trying to get 1% better every day.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of times where, especially like the smaller guys, like they get into this like perfectionistic mindset and like they're so terrified of not appeasing every single need of the customer that they end up going broke.
Yes.
Was that a hard lesson for you to learn?
Yeah, and you know what we've learned too with clients is, especially the beginning stages of construction, like establishing strong boundaries. You can still be really nice, but have strong boundaries.
Sure.
Hey, unfortunately, this wasn't in the scope.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this. I have to change order you. Well, I thought we talked, well, we didn't, and I can't just eat that cost.
Right.
It's not fair to me or to you. So, like, you have to be strong there, but at times there's moments where you're like, you know what? I know the outlet looks like crap and we should have caught that. And though it's technically, it could be a change order, I'm just going to do it because
I'm going to take care of it.
Because at the end of the day, that's not who we are. Like, we should have caught that and we should have known better. Like, and so when I get phone calls like that, I'm like, I'll make sure we take care of those type of things.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Moving into the future of the company, and we're now sitting here, it's April, the middle of April 2026. Where do you see this company in April of 2027?
I love this question because I'm going to use this as a time capsule for myself.
Right.
It's a really good question. That's a really good question. I actually hired a business coach last week because I needed guidance on that. Because, with my lifestyle, personally, I do real estate for friends, but and I love doing that. But more importantly, I'm like, okay, I fell in love with this construction company and the design build process. And so I'm like, where do I want to be? And so if I can really focus on where I want to be. So I think in 2027, where we'll end up being is we'll be a lot more profitable and a lot more purposeful.
Love it.
We'll be able to focus more on, instead of landing every single job, we're going to land the jobs that fit both us and the clients best. So I can see us landing less projects, but better projects. I can see us continuing to grow our new build division, custom home division. And I also see us doing about 2 spec homes a year where we're able to build a custom home on our own, design on our own, and then sell it on our own because there's something about like when you can just, we love designing. Like I'm passionate about designing, one of my other business partners is passionate about designing. So there's something about like creating your own piece of art.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's remarkable.
it makes life purposeful.
Yeah.
And so for me, the dream would be do spec homes, do remodel work that we want to do that are a perfect fit, and then grow the custom home division. And so I could see us doing 2 spec homes a year. I could see us doing 4 or 5 custom homes a year.
Yeah.
I can see us doing about 20 to 30 remodels this year instead of 50,
I think the theme of what you're saying is just intentionality.
Yes.
Right? You want to be laser focused with your intention and make sure that whatever it is that you're going after is aligned with the company's goals at large.
Right.
Keep the company profitable, keep the company growing, and most importantly, keep the clients happy.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head because it's so easy for a personality like me, and I've made these mistakes so often, is just the people pleaser of yes, yes, yes.
Right.
We want that job anyways. We take that job anyways. And it's like, no, let's really hone in on who we really are.
And who we're not.
And who we're not.
Right.
Yeah, like if anybody's listening, like there's a smaller company who's like, I just want these huge projects, and you're not ready for them.
Yeah.
We lost literally hundreds of thousands of dollars because we thought we wanted these big projects earlier on. We were not ready for them.
Yeah.
We did not realize how quick you can lose money. So don't be so ambitious that you land these big projects and go out of business. I would say like if you're gonna grow, do it slowly, do it organically, and do it purposeful, because if not, you'll grow too fast and you'll blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened here. I mean, we're sitting in a gorgeous office space. You guys obviously have all these amazing employees sitting here and working their butts off. I guess, given the fact that you have such an attention to details, I'm like literally looking at your cabinets. With design, that is not something that kind of happened on accident. You guys have been recognized for it. Property Brothers on HGTV. You guys ran 8 episodes.
Right.
And then beyond that, being featured on Martha Stewart, Architectural Digest, multiple awards. Is the design element the one thing that gets you up in the morning?
Oh, it makes me so happy. I love design. I don't know why. It's really weird because I'm so passionate about it. I go on Instagram and I'm probably following 5,000 designers. You know what I mean? Like, and I screen. You should see my bookmarks and my screenshots are ridiculous. And I don't know where they're at. I don't even know if I'll ever look at them again. Right. But for me, it's like I just love it because there's something about, and I have this really cheesy line. I always say, if you change your environment, you change the way you feel.
I believe it.
And I just love, like, I'm all about natural lighting. Like I love, like my office at home. I want natural lighting. I want beauty. I want to be able to be around. Almost like, it's like when we go outside and you go to like beautiful, go travel the world and you want to be in nature. Like there's something about when your environment is beautiful. It just makes you feel happy. Yeah. And it sounds so dumb, but I love
so true.
That. That's how I am.
There's nothing worse than, in my opinion, like a messy, discombobulated, chaotic living space, workspace. It I don't know, it messes with your, for me at least, it messes with my just outlook for the rest of the day.
No, for sure. And there's people who really don't care about it. And that's totally fair. But like for me, it's like, I want to be in an environment where there's just, again, everything, like what we're building.
Beauty.
Our spec home we're building up in the mountain up here. We focused all the design based off of the views of the city and the mountains, and based off of the beauty and the natural lighting. Just hyper focusing on just those details. To me, once you add them all up, it just turns into something magnificent. So.
Yeah, no, I'm a big believer in that. Given the fact that you guys are on a really sharp trajectory, lean trajectory, and most important, a profitable one, I'm curious what your current thoughts are on the residential construction, residential design build firm world as a whole right now.
Right now, it's interesting. I feel like luxury is doing really well.
Yeah.
I noticed that the middle class it's slowed down significantly. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our leads would come from the middle class. Hey, I want to redo my bathroom, or I want to do a kitchen remodel. And those slowed down a lot over the last couple of years for us, but the luxury stuff has just been on fire.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so focused on, and I love marketing and branding too. And so for me, if people are listening, if you don't have, if people go on your Instagram page and it just looks bad, and you go on your website and it doesn't look like you know what you're doing, then if you feel like a handyman, then be a handyman, right?
Sure.
So if somebody's looking to elevate their ability to do higher end stuff, the luxury market, you have to look luxury. And it sounds silly, but it's the truth.
It's so true.
And so for me, luxury strong, middle class is a little weak, and so that's kind of where I feel like that's where Vegas's market feels right now,
Yeah.
at least. So, but if interest rates go down, I think that it'll really help the markets, especially because a lot of people right now are struggling financially because of inflation.
Sure.
So I get why the middle class is struggling right
Luxury market is kind of like where it's at right now.
now. 100%.
Who are your biggest inspirations when it comes to, I guess, business growth and development? And then that could be just like from an aspirational lens. I don't know if you have the Tony Robbins of the world, the Hormozis of the world, or whoever.
Oh, I for sure. To me, and I love Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with him. I drive a. I'd say this, and I know there's people who don't like him. I don't care. I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't care because for me, Elon Musk, he is such a good thinker. I love going on X and listening to him, and I love that we're like on this group text of he has a group text for the whole world. This is one of the smartest men that's ever lived on the planet of the earth,
Sure.
and we literally have a group text with them. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of, and the way he thinks, like his great example was like, you haven't cut enough unless you've cut 10% too much. You have to hire back 10%, and I'm like, that's a wild mindset, right? And then he just talks about the importance of getting rid of the middlemen and going directly to the sources and making sure your meetings are running efficiently and believing and doing things that you don't think is possible and kicking against the system a little bit. And just, I drive a Cybertruck right now and it's the ugliest vehicle on earth, but it's self-drive. It drives. I don't even drive anymore. And I'm like, if I was a year ago, if you said, Lincoln, you're not being a vehicle that's going to drive itself, I'd be like, I will never trust that.
You're
like you're crazy. And I'm like, this guy is so innovative and so brilliant and just thinks so differently. And I really respect people who think differently.
Yeah.
Love Tony Robbins. I love Robert Kiyosaki was a really good one for me at the beginning of my career. I love because again he was against the system and that's why I dropped out of college and I felt that like I'm against the system, and who else? There's a lot of I have a lot of mentors that are in my roundtable group that I really look up to. Really good men.
Love that.
That are a few years ahead of me that are tougher than me. I struggle with being too nice. So that's why I'm hiring that business coach so I can become a better leader. Not that I have to be mean, but I just need to be more stronger with boundaries and stronger with decisions and things like that.
I like to say kind, not nice, right?
Right.
Kind, not nice.
I like that actually. Yes.
Yeah.
I need to be kinder. I need to be less nice.
Yeah. I think this was an amazing conversation. I do want to tell you guys that if you want to connect with Lincoln, if you want to connect with Kingdom and Company, all of their Instagram profile, website, links will be in the show notes.
Yes.
Lincoln, any last words that you want to leave with our viewers, maybe architects, designers locally here in Vegas that are listening to you, or even homeowners?
You know what? One of the things I was thinking about recently is we had this conversation in our office. I said, let's just go back to AI. I think AI is the future, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because if you use AI, if you don't, like, let's say you get an email now and they don't use AI or whatever it may be, right? And you could just tell it's like sloppy. You're kind of like, are they even connected with reality?
Yeah.
But if they use AI too much, you're like, that dude's just lazy, right?
Sure.
So it's this weird balance. And so I would just recommend to the groups out there to really focus on using these tools to become great, not to become lazy,
right?
And really focus on doing the right things for the right reasons, and everything will just fall into place. If you do things for the right reasons, and if you're kind and you really care about people, things just work out.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. Great advice. Once again, guys, you can check out Lincoln with all the links down below. This is our episode with Kingdom and Company, located here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And Lincoln, thanks again for being part of the show.
Thanks for letting me be on. Thanks.
Appreciate it, brother. We will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.